Hello, hi. It's another Vocal Friday with Christian Media, and I'm so happy and excited that we could pull this throughout the month of July. Well, it was a July promo from Graciedion Media, and we hope to know if this show will go on. Oh, I'm enjoying it already. Thank you all for taking out the time to be here with us to discuss about our voice, to discuss about vocals. Oh, yeah. So today on the show, we'll be having wonderful personalities. We're having great personalities here live on the show. Yeah, you want to know who they are? Don't worry, you shall know very soon. Okay, we'll be right back after the short break. Yeah. Okay, thank you once more. And if you're just joining us, this is Vocal Friday, Series 4. And today's topic, we'll be talking about stage fright. Before we go on with the show, we will be revising what we learned in the previous class. In the previous class, um, we learned about importance of vocal education, and we had wonderful uh, resource person in the person of Linda Wabudike. She was here to explain the reasons why you should train your voice, and she really did justice to it. So Linda is a young lady who wants to pursue her studies in vocal, and she's running a campaign on Support Lane. So you can find the details on supporting her on the screen. So just help a young lady to fulfill her dream. Linda has got a great voice. If you want to hear how Linda sounds, watch the previous program. So before we go on, okay, I'm so excited to bring my guests up on the stage because it's going to be so much fun. We're going to be discussing stage fright. Okay, so before we go on, what is stage fright? You can see it on the screen. The stage fright refers to the nervousness felt before appearing before an audience. Stage fright is the fear, phobia, or anxiety of an individual caused by the actual or potential need to perform. So, because you want to perform, you begin to feel stage fright. Don't change that dial. Before I bring up my guests, let's see what our guests have to offer. Welcome to Vocal Friday, free voice hacks every Friday of this month. And today we'll be talking about stage fright with Doca Ajala, a music educator, Okoye Joy, a singer, Chima Onwuaetuelo, a singer and a chorister, Tunde Olatunde Fajimi, a choir director. Let us listen to Doca Ajala as she describes the various ways stage fright manifests during performance.
Stage Don't mind me. So stage fright, what is stage fright? It's something we all conversant with, but you might not really know what exactly is that stage fright. So stage fright is what is a nervousness felt before appearing for an audience or what during the course of your presentation or what performance. We can also say the stage fright is the fear, phobia or anxiety of an individual caused by a potential need to perform in front of an audience. So what is causing that stage fright? Is it the audience you are going to perform to, or that is going to listen or watch your performance? So who are the audience? Audience is a group of people listening to a performance or watching a performance. So your audience can be comprised of your friends, your families, your lecturers, your supervisors, your can be your guests, unknown. They can be unknown to you, so you don't know them, but they just come. It can even be a paid concert that they just come to what ease of their attention to enjoy themselves and all that. So, and stage fright is what is very, very, very. It's very bad in the sense that it can really affect your performance negatively. Stage fright can affect your confidence. You start to shiver. What you can do, stage fright will make it look as if you can't do it, you can't achieve it. You get it? So when it comes to addressing a group of people, performing in the presence of people called your audience, that is stage fright. So we have, what are those indications that you have stage fright? We have number one, we have rapid heartbeat. Beep, beep. So okay, let's just use a common example. Your church, your choir master says, "Oh, Sister Doca, you're going to be leading us on, 50-minute praise and worship into this evening service." You have to think, hey, that is one with evidence that you have stage fright. Another one is facial attention. Like when the choir master says, "Sister Doca, you are going to be in this room." See my face, so you have the facial tension. Another one is dryness. You just discover that your lips just got dry, like of a sudden, your lips gets dry, your mouth like as if there's no saliva or you've been fasting all day. That is another evidence of a stage fright. We also have what uncontrollable shaking of hands. Hey, I used to have that one. I have to be very sincere too. I used to have that one. So let's say you are performing and you're on stage, you are yet to perform, and your legs, like you can't even control it, start shaking. Your legs start shaking. You are unable to get your balance. It used to happen to me. I would like it used to happen to me. Okay, let's say maybe after the end of this, I still start a little bit of stage fright. I'm not even well prepared. So answer your neighbor. So that is it. And then we have what? You just discover that you're sweating. There is haste, there is fan everywhere. You are sweating. What is causing this sweat, my dear sister? It is what stage fright. What stage fright can do you strengthen. So we also have rapid breathing. Like you may breathe normally, but when you just get to that, hey, 10 minutes to my performance, or you were just told you are going to perform to start people, hey, you have to start breathing. That's an evidence of stage fright. So after mentioning few evidence or physical indication of stage fright, now we need to talk about what the negative effects of stage fright.
Back to the show. How to overcome stage fright.
Welcome back to Welcome back to Vocal Friday show. So we just had Doca's mom, Doca's Ajala. She's a music educator. She talked about stage fright. And with me here on the show is Mr. Tunde Fajimi, Docas Ajala, Chima Onwuaetuelo. Thank you all for making out the time to be here on the show. Welcome, Mr.
Thank you.
Tunde.
Thank you.
Welcome, Docas. So guys, we've heard Docas. She was talking about stage fright and the possible manifests. So, what any of you have to say concerning stage fright?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Stage fright. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can. So can I continue?
Go on.
Okay. So stage fright. Stage fright is
I
that
hear you.
Okay. Stage fright.
Yes. So
Stage fright
Mr. Tunde.
Yes.
Okay, she's still talking.
Yes.
Okay. Stage fright is
I hear you now.
the nerve. Okay. It's the nervousness. That's like the anxiety one feels when um in front of your audience. Now, the audience you're about presenting your show to, or whatever you want to present to them. Now, is this nervousness, this you're being anxious, you're filled with anxiety. Oh, will what I'm about presenting, how does it sound? How will it look like? It's just being. It's a feeling of, oh, how do others perceive me? How do they perceive are you sure I'm meeting up to the standard of what they really expect from me? Or you sometimes in the in the in when discussing about stage fright, it's more of lowering what we can offer, because most of the time we tend to look down on our capabilities. We tend to feel that the audience wants so much from me, so I just have to render it perfectly. So that's what happens. This tension, this nervous feeling comes into play because we feel that I hope I won't go there to you know to to let me use our normal to force someone's hand down. I hope I won't go there to to misrepresent myself. So it's a kind of feeling we are kind of we are feeling a feeling of inadequacy. Do you understand? But the truth is, if we tend to believe in ourselves, if we try to practice, because there's this saying that goes that he who fails to plan plans to fail. Now, if we plan well, and our planning is about practicing, if we practice well, if we have some confidence in ourselves, do you understand? Everything comes out fine. But the truth is that this stage fright is in everyone. Everybody experience stage fright. It all depends on how you want your own. Some people's own, we try to expound our own. We try to make our fears so much that it makes us lose balance. So it's something we can always. It's something that is there, and we can always defeat it. You understand? By our confidence
Great.
and also practicing. So that's it.
Yes, practice. I know some singers who do not practice, and maybe it's just a freestyle, they go on stage. You're likely to face stage fright more than if you prepare very well. You're likely not to face stage fright. Though even professional professional. She was like, yes, Mr. Tunde, do you have any
Yes.
contribution on stage fright?
Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all.
You're welcome, Mr. Tunde.
Yeah, stage fright is like Chima has said, is a fear of performance, or rather a fear of failure when you're in a position where you need to perform something. I'm sure some of us have experienced this apart from singing when we're writing our exams. There's times you read for an exam, you enter the exam hall and you see the question and you forget what you have read. So there is this tension that comes into you. It's a biological thing. So it's not something you can control, it's not something you can wipe away. I like what you said also about how it's like a fear of how you're presented to other people or how other people see you. Now, because it's biological, it's not something you can control. It's not something you can wish away. It's something that you have to learn how to manage. So, since we're talking about music, my experience with it has been the same thing. If you're not prepared, first of all, it depends again on your familiarity with the audience. So, usually, if you're used to an audience over time, over and over again, and you are used to doing well in their sight, you usually have less of stage fright, a stage you are used to. So because you're like, they're known faces, probably they're even expecting good from you, they're already cheering you and all of that. When you go to a new place, usually when you go to a completely new environment, you are faced with that fear of performance. So because it's not, I like what you said also, Graciedion, you mentioned also that even professionals have that issue. I heard once recently that I think it's Waje, the popular Nigerian singer, that she has, I didn't confirm it, but basically the comment was that when she goes on stage, she's focused on her singing. And if anyone should come and interrupt her with maybe a conversation before going on stage, it could completely disrupt her flow. Some of the best singers in the world, you see them before they go on stage, they'll be doing lip trills, they'll be doing so many things, shaking themselves, trying to get themselves into the mindset of shaking off the butterflies. Because, and I've also heard somewhere else that the fear is actually, it's the same mechanism that works with anxiety, butterflies, and fear, that also works with excitement, the same biological mechanism. So usually what they tell people to do, I've heard said, is try, when you feel yourself feeling that, rather than think that you are afraid, rather think that you are excited, that wow, I'm excited about what I'm going to offer to these people. If you can have that mindset change, it helps you to smile, begin with a smile, begin with making a joke, or if it's the kind of stage where you can make a comment or two, make a comment, say, how's everyone doing? How are you doing today? Get a response from the audience. That response from the audience, positive response, can also help to reduce the anxious part of the feelings, and then you can now move on to your performance. But it's something that everybody is going to deal with, from the highest singer to the lowest singer on every stage. There will be that little element of anxiety because you are presenting yourself to an audience. Yeah, so that's basically what I have to say.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunde. There was a time I was teaching some students on stage fright, and one of the students shared a story with me. It's quite funny. He said there were a group of singers, male singers, and they decided to form a group. And so one of them came up on stage to sing, and he made a mistake on the stage, and he removed his mic and kept it on the floor and knelt down and said, "Please forgive me."
On stage.
Well, it was a very funny story. So when the student told us this story, wow, we laughed so much on stage. So we've heard what stage fright is, and we've heard a few things from our guests today on how we can actually overcome stage fright. Like Miss Chima has said, we should practice. It makes us better. And Mr. Tunde has also given us some few tips and on practicing, preparedness, and more in order to overcome stage fright. So, Doca, do you have more to add to tell our viewers and our audience? Yes, Dorcas.
Okay, I don't really have much to say. Chioma and Mr. Tunde have said it all, but it's just that we need to really identify our stage fright. There are some indications we need to notice. Some people they believe that they don't really have that stage fright. They've not really identified it, and which is really eating up their performance. They just discover that when they get to stage, they forget their lyrics, and there are some
Get it.
things, but they don't really know it is stage fright. So we need to identify it so that we can be able to conquer it. That's just a few things I want to say for now.
Yeah, so Dorcas has added that we should identify what it is. Like she was able to in the previous video that was shown, she was able to highlight different ways in which stage fright can show itself. Different ways in which stage fright can show itself. It can show through dryness of mouth, dryness of sweaty palms, or whatnot. Sweaty palms. So we have Joy Okoye with us here too. So we have Joy Okoye with us here too. So Joy Okoye, please shed some light more on stage fright and how to overcome it.
All right. Actually, being anxious or excited, it's part of the process of performance. It's a process. So once you're performing with other people on stage, what you could do is just try to cheer each other up. At least it helps to reduce that tension of being anxious. It changes it entirely to being excited on the stage. Then you just feeling okay, I am anxious now. You just decide to cheer each other up like your fellow um, performers on the stage. It could go a long way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's
just
true. That's
bring out an
true.
expression or smile
Yeah.
or do something. Feel free, like just
Yeah, that's true. That's
it could
true.
go a
Yeah.
long way to make you feel relaxed on that stage.
Yeah. Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Joy, for your contribution, for your time. So,
I think
stage
that
fright. I remember back then. Thank you so much, Joy, for your contribution, for your time. So, stage fright. I remember back then. There was a time I was. Does someone want to say something? Because there was a time I was. Some years back, I was to perform. So one of my friends, some years back, she usually acts as my PA back then. So I was passing through stage fright. She came into the restroom where I was shaking, and she was like, passing through stage fright. Graciedion, is this she you? Came into the restroom. You can do it. You've been doing it. You've been doing it. You can do it. And when she kept saying that to me, I became so strong. Like it was like power entered inside of me. I became like a superman. Power entered inside of me. I became like so you see, just like Joy has said, you should feel free. Sometimes you go when you have a performance, you have administration. You can go along with someone who supports you, someone that when you have a performance, you have administration that understands you very well and believes in you, supports you, especially when you're going to a show or a stage that is completely that understands you very new to you, just like and believes in you. Tunde has said, especially when you're going to a show or a stage that is completely. So do you have any just like story to tell our audience about people who have passed through stage fright and how they were able to overcome it? Do you have any story? People who have passed through stage fright and how they were able to
Yeah,
overcome
can you hear
it.
me?
Any story?
Okay, I
Yes,
would
we can
use
hear you.
myself. Okay, I would use myself as an example. Okay,
Yeah.
I read. You understand? I read in church. So the thing is, like I said, it happens to everyone. But what helps me is when I stand to read, what I do is I look at, because the truth is, when reading, you're reading to your audience, or you're presenting something to your audience. And when you're presenting something and you don't make an eye contact with your audience would feel that nervousness in you. They would feel that, why is this lady or why is this guy, you know, placing his eyes or his head just right down in the book. So they will definitely perceive that and that anxiousness you're exuding. They'll perceive it in you. So what I do is I just look at their heads. As in I it's as though, when you're looking at people's head, that's their head. It's as though I just feel as though they're not. I'm looking out, I'm seeing sands, as in you're not humans. I'm just in a room, I'm just in an empty room, and I'm seeing something that looks like sand or a black substance. So that's what I do to overcome that. When I started, it wasn't easy when I started, but as time went on, I was like, you just have to. You just have to. The truth is it's just like you just said, you have to sometimes you have to fail to succeed. So sometimes you have to be afraid to that fear alone would make you strong. I don't know how to place it, but the truth is
Yeah, that's
it
true.
happens to everyone. So you just have to tell yourself, see, I must not fumble in this thing I'm doing. I just have to give in my shot. I just have to give in my best shot to what I'm doing. So that's it. So I look at people, but I might not look at your eyes. I start from the head, then I I descend down like that. When you do it constantly, and when you are also familiar with your material, with the material you're doing, you're presenting, like that is part of being prepared, being being practicing and being
Prepared,
prepared for
yeah.
whatever yeah. So it's part of
Practicing.
the whole thing. So once you're very familiar with whatever you're presenting, it has a very it cops it cops that sense of being afraid and everything. You present better, even if
Yeah.
people sense it from you, but it's not so obvious. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Chima. I was to judge a group of singers, and one young man came up to sing, and he was singing so well, and we were so looking forward to him doing, even winning the competition. But unfortunately, the next performance, he came and he started shaking. You could see his hands shaking. But he was still singing well, and then he missed his line. And the song he was singing, I don't even know the song, but I was enjoying his flow. But I knew he was having tension. And you know what he did? He took the mic and told the people playing, please stop, everybody stop, everybody stop. That he's
Gosh.
not doing again. Because he missed his
Wow.
line. And I didn't even know he missed
Oh
his line. I was like, he
gosh.
said, I missed my line. Everybody stop, everybody stop.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so
can I say
now,
something
what
there?
are we going to call this? Yeah, please.
Okay, sorry. There's something we are being told whenever we read. Now, when you miss a line,
Okay.
your audience don't know you missed that line. That's just the truth. So what you do is,
Exactly.
if there is a word you omitted, and there is a synonym maybe in your head, you just flow. When you miss a line, just flow along, or you repeat. There's no need saying, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the line. No, you repeat. You just have a little pause, go back to what you that's in reading now, not in singing. Singing has its own way
Effect.
it's
Yeah.
being done. So you go back, you just have a pause, you go back, and you repeat whatever you're reading. Do you understand? Or you just flow and
Exactly.
nobody knows. Nobody knows. You're just
Nobody
the one
knows.
that you
Nobody
know that okay,
knows.
this is where I messed up. But and everybody at the end of it, everybody.
Exactly.
So I get.
Yeah, I had to tell him I didn't even know that he missed a line because I don't even know this song. But because of what he did, it was now very obvious that
I guess.
he missed a line. So, what
If I can
can
just come
we
in here,
say to such a
uh,
person now that if the person has prepared so well, because I believe he must have prepared so well, but still he felt stage fright. What do you think about that? Mr. Tunde, you want to say something?
yeah, I'm sorry, the network is a bit, so I'm not the example she gave. I've had that happen to me before, but in singing. So there are times when
Okay.
I've had myself and other people, you're leading a song, praise and worship in church, and your creativity comes up because you now begin to create new new lyrics, or you go off, or you extend parts of the song because you suddenly realize, I don't know the next line that is coming after this. So you now turn it into like maybe you do some runs, or you repeat, or you ask instrumentalists to come in. So there's a lot of that's where your creativity comes
Yeah.
in. And I love
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
I love what someone said about the fact that you need to have a good relationship with you have background singers or you have instrumentalists and they are within view. Sometimes you need to be able to get energy from them that you can now throw back at the audience. So for that young man, I think part of the challenge he had, if from my own experience, is that he performed well the first time he came on stage. So something was different from the first time he performed and the second time he performed. Probably, coming to the stage for the first time, maybe the expectations that were set in the first performance, maybe the comments that were made by the DJs had given him kind of like a sense of, wow, they expect so much from me, or I'm considered so good. So the next time it's coming, it's not like I can maybe I just mess up, just leave. So if I just give your best the first time, but by the time expectations are set at a level, you now begin to feel as if, wow, that can I be expectation? Or maybe the song was more complex than the other song you sang. So usually on the stage you have now he wasn't really familiar with the stage because he has only been there twice, if I understand the order correctly. So the first time I'm going there for the first time, nobody knows me. Let me just sing my best. But the second time, maybe from comments of the first performance, there's an expectation or more complex, or maybe just his nerves that they were just like shaky. So he didn't know how to calm, he wasn't able to calm his nerves. Some people say when you want to go on stage, that you take some deep breaths, you count to, and you take deep breaths, several before you climb on stage to biologically calm down all those hormones that are being triggered in your system so that at least they don't come and interrupt what you're saying. So I think maybe one or two techniques, if you had apply one or two techniques and maybe just reframed his mind. He didn't enter the stage with the right mindset affected because he had gotten positive comments from the first performance, I imagine. So the judges weren't against him. Nobody was against him per se in that sense.
Honey.
But I think he had not
Yeah.
worked on his mindset before climbing on stage. He knew the song, he was good with the song, but he didn't prepare his mind before climbing the stage. So he was now hit with the hormones and everything, and he couldn't handle it. When you are shaking on stage, you can't do anything to stop yourself. You are shaking. You are on stage. You can't lift it.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, yeah, I think he could have, with some help, maybe if he has a coach or someone behind
So,
this, would have charged him up, worked out those emotions before he climbed on
Calm
stage.
down
So those are all those
yeah.
hormones that are being triggered in your system, so that at least they don't come and interrupt what you're saying. So I think maybe one or two techniques, if I apply one or two techniques, and maybe just reframe his mind. He didn't enter the stage with the right mindset affected because he had gotten positive comments from the first performance, I imagine. So the judge
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, that's true. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunde, for analyzing that. So possibly if that guy were you, viewers who are watching us, you've heard from Mr. Tunde, you've heard from Miss Chima, you've heard from Miss Doca, you've heard from Joy, that the best way to overcome stage fright is practice and preparedness. You see, he said the preparation is not just you learning the lyrics. Just like if I may get Mr. Tunde right, the preparedness also boils down to you preparing your mind, like your mind, your nerves, calm yourself, know the right techniques. If possible, get a coach. It's just like someone going in to play football. If you're an athlete that you're about to play, you have your coach. Your coach is there to cheer you up. Your coach is there to assist you, teach you the right techniques so you don't go there. Because once you're on stage, that is where you deliver all you have practiced, all you have prepared yourself for. Like one thing I always tell students is once you're on stage, you're holding the baton already. So you're not there thinking about your breath. Oh, am I breathing from my diaphragm? Oh, am I opening my mouth the way I'm supposed to open my mouth? Is my jaw down? Is my this? No, you are now here to display everything. So that is why in your rehearsal
You deliver.
kitchen, you should cook the food very well so that when it comes out, it will be
Mm,
delicious. Wow.
mm.
I'm really enjoying myself in this show. I had an experience as an undergraduate. The first time I was to perform before my teachers in the music voices. And when I sang, I was to sing the national anthem. So I was so scared, I was tensed with stage fright. So I was just standing and shaking my hands. And when it was my turn to sing, I just started singing, was shaking and my hands were shaking. But one thing I know that helped me was I practiced good posture. I I stood, and that good posture, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just a new student, so I don't know anything, music techniques and all that. I just knew that maybe if I stand well, I would not fall down as a result of my shaking. My standing will help me to balance on the ground very well. So I stood straight and upright, and then I began to sing. And the teachers were like, wow, they were telling all
Wow.
the other students that did not sing well, like, did you see that girl? Did you see how she's singing? Look at the way she's standing like a musician. In my mind, I was like, did these people know what they're saying? So that means that good posture is another way to overcome stage fright. Is another way because if you are the type that you are so tense and you are shaking, 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 definitely in the process of you standing very well, you will not fall down. So it will be an added advantage for you. All right, so that's one of the stories behind that. Every musician passes through stage fright, even professionals, not just singing, even like Miss Choma cited in reading, and also not just reading. Sometimes when you have to speak before a crowd, you would pass through stage fright. But it is the where your strength lies in is your ability to overcome stage fright. So, viewers, before we go on, we'll be taking a quick break and then we'll be right back. So, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, this is Vocal Fridays Series 4. And we were talking about stage fright. And my guests, Chima, Onwuaetuelo, Doca, Ajala, Tunde, Fajimi, and Okoye have really done justice to discussing this topic with me. Now, to Vocal Friday series is actually a bonus from Graciedion Media to all of our members at Graciedion Media and Entertainment, Music and Vocal Institute. And we've been discussing and thinking about this. Should we go on with Vocal Friday? Do you think it's worth it? And to the glory of God, we have decided that Vocal Fridays will be coming up every 2 weeks. Every Friday, 2 weeks. That is 2 times every month. So anticipate the next Vocal Friday will be in 2 weeks' time, whereby we'll plan it very well and we'll be having the launching of our website, Graciedionmedia.org. So everyone should get ready and get your champagne ready because we're going to pop champagne on that day. Yeah, we're so excited. Okay, so thank you so much, my guests, for making out the time to be here present. Thank you so much. You're all appreciated.
Thank you for having us.
So a quick reminder, we'll be having our summer program, which will be starting tomorrow at the Institute here in Lekebe Expressway. If you are around in Lagos, you can join us physically. And if you are not in Lagos, you can join us online to train your children. It's a promo you should not miss. And it just goes for 37,625. And we'll be giving out discount for every parent with more than one child. All right, let's go to the comment box and see who have been watching us. We have Naya Cynthia. Naya Cynthia, thank you so much for coming on the show. Cynthia gives us a thumbs up. Thank you, Naya. God bless you. All right, so if you'll be watching the show afterwards, please type in your comments as we'll be asking several questions. What are the questions for today? This was our last 3 questions. So for today, the first question, if you have the answers, you can put it on the screen. State more ways to overcome stage fright. So state more ways. What are other ways you feel that you can overcome stage fright? And the second question is, do you think professionals don't face stage fright? So sometimes somebody will say, I thought I have learned so much about music. Why am I still passing through stage fright? It still happens. It still happens. Just for you to know what to do. Do your lip trills, do your lip rolls, prepare yourself. And if you're shaking there, have your fan base around you. They're there. If you're a music minister, some people, what they do is they pray very well before they go on stage. And then by the time they go there, God will help them. And they forget about the stage fright. They go there and minister because they know they're not singing just to merman, they're singing to praise God. So you just need to believe in God's gift in you, believe in God's gift in you, and you would be able to overcome stage frights. Okay, so we have assignments, just like how we always have assignments. Please, guys, try and do your assignments. Next class, you'll be explaining the assignments to us. The assignments are that you should practice any 3 tips learned in this class, and then practice it, and then we'll talk about that in the next Vocal Friday. So before we round up, I'll be inviting my guests to ask them if they have any final word or parting word for each of us.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, we have it
Hello?
too.
Okay. Sorry. Before we go, I wanted to add something that we should also cultivate the habit of practicing before a mirror. All your gesticulation, everything you intend doing during your performance on stage, try to do it before a mirror. And if you can get your friends or family members, let them sit and enjoy you perform. They can make corrections so that all those corrections you can put it in practice and you can overcome all those things while you're on stage. It can also help you overcome stage fright. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dorcas. Okay, so thank you so much, Chima. Thank you, Tunde. Thank you,
Okay.
Dorcas. And thank you, Joy, for coming up on the show. We're so grateful to have you here on the show. And so we'll be rounding up now. Let me check the comment box again. If you're just joining us, please comment on the comment box and we'll acknowledge you. If not, we'll be rounding up now after this short break. Okay, so this is what we've learned so far in the class. Can do stretches, vocal warm-ups. Be optimistic. Think of your audience as your friends and not your judge. Sing with a group. Be focused. Pick 3 tips given in this class and practice it diligently. All right, so thank you to my distinguished guests for making out the time to be here. So we'll call it a day for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
God
thank
bless you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, audience. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We love you all. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Dorcas. Bye, Chima. Bye.